Okay, I think we're live. Okay, well, hello and welcome to the first installment of the Truth Reveal podcast. Yay!
Woo! Yes, very happy.
Oh
Very
my
happy to be
gosh.
here.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Yes, Lord. It's been a journey. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a background. Well, actually, just to introduce ourselves, my name is Holly Harris.
My name is Latricia Peak, aka Sweet.
My name is April Rivers.
All right. And so basically how just to kind of give you guys some background and some context on, how we met in college. We all sang on a choir called the Children of the Sun Culture Choir, COS in the house.
POS?
Yeah.
And so we met there, of course, our love for singing, our love for God. And we just remained friends ever since then. And so basically, we've kept in touch all these years, and and basically we begin, just having real deep conversations and just enjoying the conversations that we had. And I remember saying, I wish other people could hear the conversations that we had. And we just didn't realize exactly what type of medium to use in order to allow other people to hear our conversations. But of course, in this era of podcasting, that was one of the things that kind of popped in my mind, because I'm a lover of podcasts. I subscribe to I don't know how many podcasts, and I listen to them when I'm at work, and I really, really enjoy podcasts. And so I just began to think that this would be a good way for us to get our conversations out there. And so I kind of brought the idea to April and to Sweet. And, some months later, here we are. If anybody want to add to that story, I just was rambling on trying to.
It was a good ramble. It was a good ramble.
It was a good ramble.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So basically, just to kind of give you guys what the vision is for the podcast, I'm just going to read our description. We basically are a podcast where we want to host conversations that relate in order to reconcile as we uncover God's truth. We intend to examine relevant topics pertaining to the church, race relations, gender, pop culture, current events, and politics. We will explore different perspectives and extract the underlying truth. So that's our whole objective here, is to bring relevant conversations to the table and to discuss them and to extract the truth. Because in this age of political correctness, sometimes the truth gets lost. And so it's our objective to be able to uncover that truth. So is there anything that you guys wanted to add to that?
I think that was pretty much great. Just emphasis on reconciling to truth, because I think a big part of the vision that we had was everybody has so many different opinions, and we want to provide truth, but we also want to say it's okay to have a different opinion, and that we can be reconciled even with those differences. Just to add that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I agree. I think that it's a wonderful dynamic, as you were saying, Holly, about us being friends and us being able to bring our unique personalities um, to the conversation, even though we're all coming from a biblical Christian worldview. We're three individuals who have strong personalities and strong opinions. But I'm excited about bringing something to the world that only we can bring, because we have fun. Like we talk about these things. We bring the Lord into these things. We bring the truth, reveal the truth. But we do it in a way that's very entertaining.
I feel were
Oh
very
Lord.
entertaining.
You see, I know. I'm telling you.
This is naturally. We're naturally entertaining. Black girl magic.
We are to us.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, somebody else thinks so.
Well, we going to find out.
Well, this is true.
Exactly.
My Lord, today. So okay, well, yeah. So you guys know a little bit about us. We definitely want this to be something that grows into a community. If you guys, have ideas, we are going to be setting up a Facebook page and everything where we can kind of interact with everybody. If there's any tidbits that people want to add, any show ideas that you have that we can take into consideration, we're definitely willing to do that. So. We thought just for this episode, we would, of course, talk about the elephant in the room. And what elephant is that? Rona, okay? The coronavirus. Oh my God, it's been something. That's about all I can say about it. But well, first of all, how have you guys been doing in this quarantine? Like, what's been your feelings? What's been your thoughts? Like, I know for me, it's been a challenge in that trying to stay focused as it relates on what I feel God has called me to do in this moment, but then also at the same time being able to see just the devastation of this disease and so many deaths. And it's like I've been on about 25,000 prayer calls, praying,
Right.
heartbroken, literally heartbroken, but at the same time still trying to get up and okay, God still, requires that we do certain things and that we reach out to our neighbors and that so it's almost like we're going through this thing, with everyone, but at the same time, there is a mandate for us to be the church and, to be there for those who are in need and also to fulfill our purpose, even in the midst of life that's going on. So it's been a real challenge for me to find that balance between the two, between just breaking. There's times I've broken down and cried, and then the next day I'm excited about starting the podcast. So it's like it's kind of it's a lot. But that's me rambling. But y'all, somebody else jump in. Amen.
Go ahead.
Well, for me, during this time, y'all know my little bit of story. I actually have been tested for COVID-19. I had the nerve, or my family had the nerve to get sick during this terrible time. Have a virus that started with my youngest son and then went to me and then went to my eldest son. And it was nerve-wracking for a moment. Now, of course, I trust God. I believe God. But when you're in the midst of it, when my son first got sick, I was like, what is happening? Trying to think of where we've been. I haven't been really taking him out. I do all the store runs alone. But went through that.
Uh-oh. April, we can't hear you. Uh-oh. April? Sweet, can you hear her?
No, we can't hear you,
We got
April.
some technical difficulties going on.
It looked like some of our hospital workers don't have what they need.
Okay, well, she's back.
The fear of some of the healthcare workers even dealing with my son and me when they thought we had it or might have it, and even their fear, seeing all those things and just making me prayerful, but then it also make me grateful. Like I'm using this time to really not take for granted the things I was taking for granted. Time with my kids, time to like stop and like truly smell the roses. Thank God for my life, health, and strength. That old school testimony is real.
Yeah. It's real. It's different.
Yes, it hits different. And then also looking at the impact that this thing has had on the world. The world has been brought to a halt. Someone said it, I think it was Jackie, someone I was watching, she said like a forced Sabbath. We've been forced to stop everything whether we want to or not. So
Yeah.
I've kind of been up and down with it. I see God in it. I smile
Mm-hmm.
some days. I'm excited about certain things, and some days I'm just like, "Robo shanda bahasha, Lord." Just, Jesus.
Hey, glory.
So that's it for me.
Um, Unfortunately, I don't feel quarantined, being that I'm still going to work. Bless His holy and righteous
My
name.
Lord.
Bless his name.
Um,
Bless her, Jesus.
but I think, just to kind of piggyback off of what everybody else has said, it's that same thing. There are moments where it feels very bipolar. Um, I feel my faith arise. I feel like a giant in the faith at times. And then there are times where I feel like a child coddled in a corner.
Yeah.
I'm specifically walking along with a friend whose husband is currently in the hospital, and is going into week 2 of his battle with this disease. And I'm seeing it up close and personal, not only how it's impacting him, but how it's impacting his family and his kids, and it's vicious. And so we're praying and we're believing God for healing. But there are also those moments where you pray and you have breakthrough and the fever breaks, and then the next day the oxygen levels drop, and it's like, wait a minute, what happened? It's like up and down. So yeah, it's been a new experience in my faith journey to 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 believe for someone else and for
Yeah.
myself, and just praying that I'm okay. I'm still interacting with the public because of my job, and just still trying to have some form of normalcy in the midst of. But I will say, glory be to God, there is no traffic. So every day when I go
Well.
to work and every day when I come home, it is smooth sailing. So, we thank God for traffic decrease because of the quarantine. Amen.
You silly. Yeah, I feel you about, the whole cases up close and personal. I mean, being a part of the life group I'm a part of, honey, I get texts every day. It seems like they know everybody with the coronavirus. I mean, Lord. And if somebody from my life group is listening, I ain't trying, I'm not being funny about it, but I mean, like, because they are praying women, they get prayer requests, and like literally every day it's I'm just like, Lord, this person got it, that person got it, or this person has passed, or that, be praying for this person or that person. So yeah, it's been a lot, but we
I think
trucking along in
I
Jesus'
think
name.
too, Holly, before we transition, I think the
Yeah.
other thing too that I'm experiencing outside of the virus is, even though our world is coming to this halt and this standstill, life is still happening.
It is.
So
Yeah.
people are dying, and not dying because of the virus. They're dying
Mm-hmm.
because of old age. They're
Yeah.
dying because it's just their time to transition.
Yeah.
They're passing because they had been sick previously. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, someone called me today to sing at a funeral, and it's like bringing back to reality, even though there are other people that are dying as a result of this disease, some people are dying just through natural causes, and
Yeah.
families are still having to navigate this very new and delicate place where you can't support in the manner that you want to, and you can't
Yeah.
even have the support in the
Mm-hmm.
manner that you want to now, because of the executive order that's been issued and the amount of people that can gather at a certain time.
Yeah.
So, that's very heartbreaking.
It is.
To want to be there for people that you can't be there for.
Mm-hmm. And that people are dying alone, literally.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really heartbreaking. Just to throw out some statistical data of just how we're not trying to bring a damper on nobody, but these are the facts. That there are currently over 200,000 cases in the U.S. And there have been like over, I think it's like 6,500 deaths so far in the U.S. Worldwide, there are over 1 million cases, and there's been over 62,000 deaths, but at least over 200,000 have recovered. So that's some good news that there are
Amen.
people recovering from this disease. So, but as a result of these numbers, many states have instituted shelter-in-place orders to lower the possibility of exposure and to prevent spreading. And in these orders, they identify essential and non-essential businesses. And so that brings us to, our topic today that we're going to touch on as it relates to the virus. And specifically, we're going to touch on as it relates to the church being considered a non-essential business, and just kind of parlaying into the pastor in Florida that just recently was arrested for holding a large gathering church service, despite the stay-at-home order, and the order for it not being no more than 10 people to gather in one place in one sanctuary. So just with all of that happening, we pose the question, what do you do when your faith is in direct conflict with the law of the land? And so there's been many debates out there about this, on one side or the other, as it relates to whether or not the church should be considered an essential business, because we do feel like our faith is essential, versus us obeying the laws of the land. So that's basically what we want to discuss today and kind of dive into. So does any one of you guys want to start off with what you feel as it relates to the order that's been put in place and the church not being considered a business?
Well, I'll start off by saying it like this. Even though the church is deemed a non-essential business, the business of the church is not non-essential. And what
Yeah.
I mean by that is the business of the brick and mortar being open or being closed, or being able to come in, being able to have staff working there, that can be deemed non-essential. But the prayers of the righteous, the work that we do in a spiritual type way, that is essential, and that can still be done outside of the four walls. That's what we have to look at, and that's where we've got to renew our minds, I think, as church people. I'm trying to talk in a way that people who aren't in the church understand what I'm saying. But like, basically, we can be the church, we can pray, we can serve, we can give, we can help people, and still have those four walls closed. Now, I do understand that people sometimes take the scripture that talks about the assembling of ourselves together, like not forsaking that. But even looking at the word assembly, we've got to look at things with a different lens. Because if we're looking at the Bible, there were times where the Lord told his people, go in your chambers and shut the door behind you. There were times where he told them, like, don't come out because I'm doing something. I'm doing something, and you need to stay in until I give you further instruction. So I think that's how we have to look at that differently. And I hate to even just focus on that one pastor, because this is all new to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Pastors are people, and they're just trying to do what's right. At the end of the, I don't think that pastor meant any ill will, harm, or even extra defiance. He was trying to obey God in the way he thinks he had to obey God, but we got to just renew our mind and think differently. I don't really see it as persecution against the church. I would only see it as persecution if we were the only ones being held by that standard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
But just to kind of touch on essential, I really do wish that Roy Cooper realized how essential the beauty supply store is, because I need my concealer.
You
And I'm out, and I'm having to improvise.
You off topic, daughter.
I'm just saying, I feel some kind of way, but let me get back.
I understand that
That's
too.
essential
Now,
to
Lord,
me.
it's
You
crucial
hear?
in these beauty
Now,
supply streets.
yes, yes. I need that concealer, Lord Jesus. But anyway, yeah. So I think that we as a people, we as a nation, we as humans, we as Christians, I think there should be grace extended, like kind of like what April was saying, because we're all experiencing something that we've not experienced before. And so I feel like we're all trying to navigate, a very delicate place. We don't know what it's like to say we're not having church. And then we're not having church for an extended period of time. And so I think it's kind of like what you were saying, some pastors are literally trying to figure it out as they go. I feel like they're trying to, which, like what April said, honor God and honor the mandate. I think that it's important in this moment that those that lead understand too the significance of the impact that their decisions and their authority has. Because some people are going to go to church just because the pastor said you should still come. And so when you operate and walk in a certain level of authority that is so influential into how people perceive and think, I think it's that scripture, to much is given, much is required. And so you have to think not only what you think is best for your congregants, but you also have to think of the fact that, hey, some people are going to do stuff just because I'm saying I'm going to do it. And making decisions that I'm going to make a decision for you, in the sense of I'm more concerned about your health and safety and well-being than you actually coming to this assembly. Now, granted, nobody made those individuals go to church.
This is true.
So, we can't put all that blame, we shouldn't put that blame on this particular pastor. But for some people, their convictions may have been, I'm going to go. The same way some convictions are, I still have to go to work.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah, and I think too, it's one of those things to where, to be honest, like in the beginning when this disease first hit, a lot of people didn't take it seriously. Like I would be one to say that I was one of them people that was like, oh, SARS, H1N1, they never really, we're not that, that's not, honey. Corona said, I'm not the one. Now I'm gonna be different. Like somebody that told you wrong. This is real. But I think, I'm not saying that he didn't take it seriously, but I do feel like just overall in our country there is, do you see it, folks still going to the beach, they still parlaying here, there, and everywhere. And so I don't think that that some may take it as serious as it is. And I do feel like sometimes we do feel like, for instance, like when you were talking about April before, where there were times, in biblical history where, God said, go in, shut your doors. It's about to rain on the just as well as the unjust. And I feel like that's the time that we're in, to where, even though we have our faith and we love God, you can still get sick. You know what I'm saying? And I think some people don't really take that into consideration, that they feel like, well, I got the Lord, he gonna cover and protect me. Yeah, he will cover and protect you, but to put yourself in situations to where you tempt the Lord, or to where you like just going out here all willy-nilly, is not what we're supposed to do either, because this is a time to where it's, there are a lot of pastors that are sick. There are a lot of, pastors that have died, apostles that have died, preachers that have died, but strong, out the whole fivefold, okay? People that are strong in the faith that left here. And so, and I think that too is one of those things to where we have to kind of come to reconciliation with, as far as, okay, I love God, he's going to cover and he's going to protect me, but I also have to use wisdom, because I can't take for granted that I could get this disease too. And so I think it's still kind of, for some people, because it hasn't been close and personal, it's not really hitting them in the same way. And so they feel like, I can go and do this and I can go and do that and blah, blah, blah. But, they're not really seeing the seriousness of how many people have died and could die as a result. And then there are those of us who do have strong immune systems that could get it, be asymptomatic, and pass it on to someone who can't fight it off. So just having that knowledge, and like the scripture talks about, loving your neighbor as yourself, to the point
Mm,
where you really consider that, hey, if I got this and the Lord covered me and I was able to fight it off, that don't mean I can't give it to somebody else.
right,
So
right.
taking that also into consideration. So, but because I've heard a lot around this debate, people like, oh, you ain't got the faith I got, to believe that the Lord, I mean, just downright, to be honest, foolishness, you know what I'm saying? Just, not to be judgmental, but like when you basically are putting absolutes out there like that, and just like, if you do this, you ain't got the faith, or if you do that, you have a lack of faith, it's not the right way that we should be thinking, at this time. So, but did y'all have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, Holly, I wanted to say this just to your point. I hope if anything come out of this, and I believe that God can take something ugly and give us the good out of it. And I pray that this will humble people. Like right
Mm,
now is the worst time after all that's going on, after we totally see that we have no control that we thought we
mm,
had or think we had
yep.
over certain situations. We can't, people can't work. We're in a situation where it don't matter. Me and someone was talking today, and she was like, this done level the playing field where you could be a millionaire
Come
and the
on.
poor man, and you are the exact same, because if there
Because
ain't
you
no
still need tissue.
huh?
I said, because you still need toilet paper.
You still need toilet
This
paper,
is right.
and you still can't buy no meat because there's no meat.
Right,
So
right.
it don't matter. And so we're on one level playing field. So I
Yeah.
pray that God is using this time, that people don't waste this time by not
Mm,
humbling themselves, and
yeah.
stop comparing yourself, trying to be some faith warrior and putting someone down. You still don't realize it's a symbol of your own insecurity.
Oh,
Mm.
oh,
Humble
my,
Oh
yourself.
Lord.
my.
Humble yourself. And this is not a competition.
It's not,
We
come on.
but dust. And if it's not for God, we ain't
Yeah.
gonna make it.
It's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
You
good.
have well said, daughter. You have well said.
Yes. You have. Yeah, it's one of those times. But I even, even when it comes to wearing masks, I've seen, debates as it relates to that, and as it relates to believing God is going to protect you. If you believe that, then why you wearing a mask? Like it really has, this virus, if anything, it really has revealed a lot about ourselves. It's revealed our hearts,
Mm-hmm.
intentions. It's also revealed our selfishness. It's revealed, 'cause it's revealed our spoiledness, because I'm telling you, if there's a word, spoiledness, I don't, there might not be, but
Yeah.
anyway. But when I go to the store and I'm frustrated because this is out or that is out, it's like in the US, even during a pandemic, we are the most blessed nation. Like, because to be able to even go to the grocery store and have choices and things to choose from,
Yeah.
and then when that's taken away from us, you know what I'm saying, we fall all out, or it just really reveals that we are really spoiled. I mean, we're really blessed, you know what I'm saying, even in the midst of all of this chaos that we're going through. And so it's really humbled me to be like, okay, daughter, just wait. You can wait. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can, what it's really has humbled me and showed me a lot about myself and about my own temperament, and when I don't get things my way, and and stuff like that. And so and just to bring out another point, I know I was watching a preacher, I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about how America is one of the only nations that never was able to maintain their own freedom, or something like that. They were that we've always had a hard time managing our freedom. And so, and that kind of goes back to the point of, even with the mandates that have been put in place, a lot of people are still, still refusing to abide by them. They still are
Mhm.
out there just doing whatever they want to do instead of obeying it, because we're so used to being able to just, because it's a democracy, we so used to just being able to just, trollop around and do whatever we want to do and not submit to what has been put in place. So, but I might be
Do
rambling.
you think that kind of like segueing into that, the whole freedom of expression or freedom to kind of do your thing, do you think that's why some people they're making the separation with the church and the state? Um,
Like how so? Like as far as
Meaning that because of the whole church and state and how they're separated, even
hmm
though the church has been deemed as non-essential,
hmm
you're still allowed to meet because of
yeah,
that separation. Do
yeah,
you
that's
feel
true.
like people have utilized, I don't want to say abuse, because I think that's maybe a bit far to state. That's a pretty big adjective to use. But
hmm
well, not adjective, but I don't know if I want to say abuse. But do you feel like they've taken that liberty and well, yeah, abused it?
Well, I mean, my Lord, today, I do think that because I mean there is some leeway there. I believe I think Liberty University opened their university back up too, didn't it?
Right. And they had
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah, because they didn't have, I think they had like one case or they didn't have any cases or something. And so they just opened back up. Yeah, but I mean, that liberty is because I believe that Trump did give, the governors the authority to kind of make that choice or decision as far as the religious organizations and, that sort of thing. But yeah, I do feel like people are kind of taking that leeway and, because we do have the freedom where you ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna just, go ahead. But then there are those, there's kind of like that separation because there are those who are like, well, I'm gonna just do what I want to do. But then there are those who within themselves, they really are fighting between that, like you said, what they feel like they believe in the word and they want to keep things going versus the laws of the land. So I mean you have both types of people, those who are just being rebellious and those who just didn't know, what I'm saying, they just kind of did what they thought was right,
And
in other words.
I think that's where some of the conflict comes in as people of faith, as Christians, where you have those who are in that tension between do I follow this order and abort my faith, so to speak, and then you have those people who are waiting for the opportunity to be a martyr and
Well,
and and
yeah.
and waiting for the opportunity to say my liberties are being infringed upon, or this is persecution. And
hmm
I don't feel like, and this is just my opinion, I don't feel like the church is in persecution.
no,
It's
me
coming,
either.
but
Yeah,
this right here is not it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you. I don't think this is the persecution, like I said, and I think that as far as abuse of liberty, I agree with Holly. I said this to another friend of mine. We are spoiled in this nation. We are not used to,
Yeah.
I've seen it in myself. Like even when looked at China, and I used to always, even before this, China, they always wear masks on their face and stuff like that. And I'd be like, Lord, look at them in the other countries. They can't even breathe their own air. Now look at us.
Come
I'm
on.
going to the grocery store. We look just like them. Like
Child.
Americans have an elitist
Mm,
mind frame, and that's in the church and outside too.
yeah.
Um, and unfortunately, it's in the church too, like an elitist mind frame. Like you talking to them, you're not talking to me. You know,
hmm
um,
Mhm.
and I think that again, the underlying thing is I pray that we just give grace to people in this time because some
Yeah.
people are rebellious. And hey, if you want to be a G, you want to die for it, then that's what you got to do. You go ahead and die for it. As far as like the
Go
Liberty
ahead on.
University, like one of the issues that come up in some of the universities that did reopen it wasn't just opening like to have class like normal, but the problem they had was they had international students who had no home to go to. They cannot fly back to China. They can't fly back to Europe. And so they're like, nobody's going to take us in their home. So some of the campuses open back up to let those students go back to their dorms,
Got you.
and do things. So we gotta have grace because we don't know what the inner working of all it takes to shut an entire system down.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true. That's
so I
true.
just pray again that we just find the underlining commonality in things. We all need grace. We
Yeah.
move in. Pray for the ones that still gonna go to church. Pray for the ones who staying home. Pray for the ones who gotta go out here and be on the front lines, like Sweet, like my friends who are nurses and all that. Holly, I don't know if you still are you still going out to work?
Well, no. Yeah, they
Yeah, so
kind of.
some of us can work from home. I'm working
Yeah.
partially from home. 3 days a week I work from home, 2 I go in. But for all of us who have to, the CEOs that got to make decisions, because what people are not realizing, and I hate to ramble on this point, but I thought about this. People are saying, well, these jobs still making you come to work. These jobs are thinking, my people ain't got the stimulus check yet. They need income, and they're healthy, and some of them want to go to work because they're scared. They don't have savings. They don't have nothing in their bank account until their next check come.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot to think about, and these are on the minds of the CEOs and stuff. It's not all greed. Like everybody immediately says, "Oh, greedy companies." It's not all greed.
Yep.
They don't want to let people go right now
Yeah.
if they don't have to.
Now.
So we got to pray for everything and humble ourselves because we're not in the position that some people are.
That's true.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's really a lot because it's a lot of things that we don't think about, that kind of go into the whole systems and stuff. And so, yeah, we definitely have to reconcile that, we don't know, we don't show. But
What?
We don't
to read the on Boys in the Hood where he said they don't no, they don't show, but they don't care about what's going on. I'm a movie buff, so I'm gonna be quoting a lot of movie
I know that's right
on here. So but anyway, but yeah, guys, this has been an amazing episode as we dive into this coronavirus. We just pray that each and every one of you stay safe out there, and that, like we said, extend grace because we all need it, especially.
Yeah.
So we just thank you for joining us for our first episode of Truth Reveal, and we pray that you have an amazing day. All right.
Yes.
And wash your hands and take a bath.
Please take a bath and wash your hands.
And wash your tail too. I know you home. Wash that.
I told him to take a bath. I hope they wash their tail when they take a bath.
Oh,
that's right.
Jesus, please wash everything, Lord.
Oh, Lord. All right.
This is a sidebar, but I did have a friend. No, I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna do it. Never mind. Go ahead. No, I'm not.
Hey, Father.
I'm not even gonna go there. Wash your hands and take a bath.
Please.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.